Hey guys, welcome to my channel. It's very nice to have you here. And this is the very first screen of God of War Ragnarok. And the reason why I'm showing it is because I want to, get a shot at having my first review of a game. And since I finished the game recently, I finished it when was that? Like this morning, I think. I thought that the freshest take I could offer would possibly be the best one. From this point on, in order to start this review, I want to tell you, I want actually to say I'm sorry for, I don't know how to edit videos at all. Um, I don't, I can't do like any professional work like just like the other YouTubers, but I'm gonna try to offer you guys a honest vision or the most honest vision I can offer you. First of all, let's turn down the volume for the dialogue because that's exactly one of my complaints about this game. I mean, these people talk too much. They talk too damn much. Specifically, your companion and this guy's head right here, Mimir. But let's start the video. I don't want to address the negatives. I want to address the positives first, and then we're gonna go into the negative aspects of this game and what my overall thoughts are gonna be on it. Well, as you can see, I have finished the campaign. I've got this brand new armor here, this armor set that I got just before I went into the War of Ragnarok. Yes, this review is going to contain spoilers, so be warned. Stop this video right now if you don't want to get spoiled. Uh, Freya also has sort of an armor as well. Like if you can change it here, you're gonna see that Freya has like a pretty cool armor, like pretty much the same armor as Kratos, because it's the armor that they give you at the end of the game. As you can see from my list, I didn't get like a lot of stuff because basically what I did was get through the campaign first. And let's go to the positives. The positives are actually like the graphics are pretty cool. The game is quite beautiful. Um, Even though this game was originally playing for the PlayStation 4, I always tell my friends that if they expect to play this on the PlayStation 5, this is actually not a PlayStation 5 game. It was designed for the PlayStation 4. It runs better on the PlayStation 5, that's for sure. And this is the version we're playing right here. We are in Midgard now. But yeah, the game is beautiful. Some of the stuff you can see here is pretty impressive. And the game the game is pretty well optimized, I would say. Like it runs butter smooth. It's got access to that stuff that Spider-Man offers to people with variable refresh rate TVs, where you can play the game at 40 frames per second and yet enjoy a 4K transition of the visuals. So it's actually quite cool. It's beautiful. And you got my point, right? Graphics are pretty cool. The realms are interesting. Even the realms that you actually get to visit again. Although some of the assets they seem to be, I don't know. I had the impression that they were reused somehow. It was not that new, so to speak. Um, Also, the second great thing about this game is the combat this time around is actually pretty satisfying. The first one was the one in 2018. That was a bummer. I didn't think much of it, to be honest. I actually found it boring, and I tend to agree with a video I saw by a guy called Under the Mail when he heavily criticized the combat in this game. That was pretty awful. Oh, and then okay, Freya, come on, toss the right arrow. Uh, and that was pretty cool. But the combat is more dynamic this time around. The combos are the animations, the finishing animations are cool. The let me see. Good lord, man! I think I'm gonna have like a pretty negative vision, pretty negative review of this game, I guess. Um, but then again, they have improved on the combat, from like 2018 to this game all around. However, this game actually feels like it's a huge DLC from the first game. I cannot shake the feeling that this is actually DLC, and I've like openly said it to a few friends of mine and some people who actually were asking me for recommendations whether to buy this game or not. Uh, but there is, I simply cannot shake the feeling that like this game is somewhat a DLC of the last game. It's cool and all. You get to play with Kratos again. You get to play with like his friends and stuff, and that's where we go towards the story, towards all of the characters. Um, but before we can actually do that, I mean, they made it easier for you to manage your armors and like pieces of magic and skills and things like that. That was pretty cool. We had some cool additions like this one over here where you actually get to change the skill, right? You just have to inspect and you can mod the skill actually. So you can choose these tokens here to tell what kind of skill you actually want to be used for this one. So I always choose damage because like I wanted to hit really hard, and that's pretty cool. Is for the other chest armors, the system is actually much more accessible than 2018 with that color system and stuff. The map continues to be, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about this map. I don't like it, but it's better than that freaking 3D map of Jedi Fallen Order. because that map is ridiculous. This one, you can at least track missions and get to the places where you have to go. Although, like, if you keep on the, if you say like track a mission, for example, Sigram's curse, for instance, and you've got these icons on the compass. Uh, they change places all the time, so you get lost. You get lost a lot in this game because the compass never actually shows where you're supposed to go. I mean, here, since we are on Lake Nine, that's actually easier for you to, get oriented to whether the right direction is, to get to a certain place. But in places like, say, in places like Alfheim, which is the come on. Oh, come on, man. I wanted to kill it. In places like Alfheim, it becomes just ridiculous to be done because like the layout of the realm is confusing. Um, and also the compass, the compass changes like freaking crazy. That's kind of disappointing as well. But let's talk about the game itself. I mean, story-wise, right? You guys are probably interested in listening about the story, I guess. And I'm gonna spoil the whole thing now. All right. Not gonna say Kratos is who he used to be. He's not. Not at all. He's a pretty different person. I mean, kind of like he's kind of like the same that he used to be when he was Statue of Runes. Okay. It's pretty much the same person he used to be in God of War 2018. Only this time around, it seems to be more. Oh, I got a chest armor. It seems to be more depressed somehow. At least that's the impression I have. Because he's always feeling down, or he's always looking extremely down. And he seems to be like in this game. He seems to be pretty preachy as well. That's my second impression of this game. Um, the story is, how can I say? The story is pretty much. This is basically not like to get started. This is not a story about Kratos. Not really. If you thought that you were going to play Kratos, you are in for, let's say, this is not exactly what you are supposed to be. To think that you're gonna fight, right? That's not Kratos per se. This is a story that's centered around Atreus. And it's gonna be easy for those like, who had high expectations in this game, with this game. If you liked Atreus in the first place. Oh, we got into a fight right here. So, as I was saying, if you like Atreus in the first place, you're gonna be, you're gonna really enjoy this story. However, if you want to see a story about Kratos, my friends, this is not, you're not gonna be pleased. You are not gonna be pleased at all. It's an interesting story. I don't know, man. It's like I have like mixed feelings about it. Like at first, when I was playing the first, I think the first 5 hours of this story, uh, I was into it. We had like some strong moments where you follow the story, and then the story actually leads you somewhere, and that's pretty cool. You can actually enjoy it quite a lot, actually. But then again, you've got like all those RPG elements and stuff, and then it starts getting boring. Uh, I have to be honest. I'm not a big fan of RPG elements. Not really. And I'm not a big fan of the way the industry has the trend that the industry has the gaming industry has shown that everything now has to be or has to contain elements of RPGs. Yeah, really, really. I've got a lot of reservations regarding that. I don't like it. What the heck is that, man? Okay. I gotta stop fighting and continue the review. However, that's the thing. They've made it an RPG, right? So my first criticism towards the story is the fact that... Oh, I died again. What the hell? You die too easily, by the way. Especially if you're not paying attention like I wasn't. Okay, let me stop. I'm gonna continue this later. I'm gonna do this later. That's for sure. I'm gonna walk around. Yeah, let me walk around. As this is not gonna work. It's not gonna work out. Like if I keep on doing this stuff, doing the side quests, I'm not gonna be able to finish this review. So as I was saying, oh come on, man, combat again. Shit. Can I run from it? Can I? Okay, I'm gonna burn you guys down to a crisp. Where was I? Okay, kill me. Come on. That's right. Hit me again. Yeah, I'm gonna shame myself in my own review by letting Kratos die. Come on. You see, guys, I want to die. They don't want to. They don't want to hit me. Okay, I did it. Good. Okay, so I was saying, there's this trend that they have to make like every aspect of games. Every game has to be a freaking RPG, right? And that pisses me off a bit because, like, I'm a big fan of the old God of War games, especially the first four ones, which are God of War 3, 1, 2, 3, and 4, which I consider to be Ascension, not 2018, in release order, basically. But then again, we had like an experience which was shorter back then. We had like maybe 8 to 10 hours per game, depending on whether you what kind of difficulty you actually chose to play in. And that was what I like to call intense, because it was basically, let's say, this linear experience, which a lot of people actually frown upon today. But it was pretty intense. It was like it kept you on your toes as you progressed through the story, right? And and to me, that's exactly what made it so special. The fact that you basically went through a story, point A to point B, but during this time you had this incredible adventure. And that's not what happens here. You often get sidetracked uh, by things that you don't really care. I mean, I don't give a shit about some of the stuff that they ask, and especially the favors that they ask. Right? Uh, as for as for the story and for the characters, that's where we're gonna tread into very dangerous territory now because I don't like the way Kratos is being depicted in this game. I don't. I don't care if you call me a teenager. I don't care if you guys think I'm some sort of an immature guy because I'm not a father, or I don't know what it's like to raise a teenage and an annoying teenage kid. Um, but no, I do not think that this is an evolution for the character of Kratos. I think he's gotten, I don't know, like resentful of his own past. I know he made some mistakes and stuff, we all know that. But he became more and more resentful as as the game progressed, as like the way it was that he was depicted here. Also, I don't know. I feel like he is always insecure or depressed somehow. That's the impression I have. Um, and that kind of I was trying to pin the reason why this story is so. Uh, how can I put it? I don't know if controversial is the word, or nothing seems to make complete sense over here. Because Kratos says one thing and does something else. For instance, he spends the whole game just professing his desire not to fight anyone and not to go into war. Because he despises his violent ways. He doesn't want to do what he used to do in the past. And yet he fights enemies and he rips them to shreds, like literally. And I played the whole game and I was like, okay, man, why don't you go home? I mean, people are asking you to kill all sorts of creatures and to kill Odin and to kill all the gods and stuff, or gods or whatever it is that he had to kill here. And then for a moment I was. It doesn't make any sense for Kratos to actually be doing what he's doing here. Since he's completely like anti-violence, right? So the first thing I thought when I saw that Kratos was anti-violence was to picture him, in a parade with Greta Thunberg protesting. Sorry, I know I'm gonna be canceled for saying that, but that's the first thing I thought. I was like, oh, okay, we're gonna have Kratos now, as an activist for like an anti-violence parade, combined with an environmental kind of thing. Uh, because he's just like that, and he's preachy game long, all game long. And it's not because he wants to be a better father for Atreus. It's because the guy is always trying to teach people a lesson, man. And that's not what I signed up for. I signed up for some Kratos' action, and not to listen to him moan and complain about circumstances. And most specifically, I didn't sign up to see Kratos, complain about Atreus sneaking out and spending 2 hours outside of the house. Uh, if I wanted to watch teen drama, I would certainly catch any shows on Netflix or whatever, whatever teen drama they were showing. Right? I don't want to watch this kind of stuff. This is not God of War to me. But then again, okay, what do I do here? But then again, that's pretty much it. And this is the stuff you see throughout the game. You see Kratos worried about his kid, worrying about being a better father, uh, eating sausage. Take it from me, dudes. You buy this game, you're playing like a 2022 game, and you are going to see Kratos eating sausage. Uh, I cannot imagine a more boring uh, activity to do in a game. I cannot. I cannot. Yeah, but that's what they got us to do. There's also a second part of the game which is like ridiculously boring, which is some segment where you get to play with Atreus, and you spent about an hour and a half riding on a buffalo kind of creature. I don't know if it's a buffalo. May the buffaloes forgive me for that, for saying that the creature was a buffalo, but. Basically, you spend an hour and a half collecting fruit and talking about your feelings. So I was like, okay. They actually exposed us to 1 hour of gameplay of something completely boring, man. That was absolutely awful. And yet, we had to play it. And okay, can I blow that shirt up? No. And then that was pretty much it. It was the most boring stuff I've ever seen in my life, man. Right? There's also a segment where you were also controlling Atreus. I don't want to control Atreus. I don't like the kid, and at all. I think he's annoying and obnoxious at certain parts. Uh, there's a second part in which like he has to climb the walls of Asgard. He's trying to get into Asgard, and he's got to climb this huge wall. And I couldn't help but think that like maybe in PlayStation 2 or PlayStation 1, for example, it'd have this very epic scene with like some epic music where he would like climb the wall. That there would be a cinematic showing him climbing the wall and stuff, and he would say, "Wow, that's freaking cool. That would be great." But no, they don't do it. They just give you like a bunch of cliched segments in which, just like much like the jump in this game, you cannot fail at all because it's supposed to be cinematic. And this is basically what Atreus does. He climbs the wall, and then we've got cinematic. And speaking of cinematics, we got like a lot of cinematics in this game. like a lot of them. That's just so many of them. It's wow. Sometimes you play for like 5 or 10 minutes, and then you've got to watch like a CGI or something. And it's usually because the characters they talk too much. And let's speaking of characters talking too much, let's get to the elephant in the room when it comes to combat. The combat is disrupted by the camera. First of all, the camera is too close to Kratos. Not a good camera for melee combat, that's for sure. Anybody who actually plays games and stuff like that knows that like Atreus. It feels better controlling Atreus than it feels controlling Kratos or doing stuff with Kratos because the camera is too close to him. It particularly annoys me to see the back of his head all the time. And the second item that annoys me a lot is the fact that you've got on-screen indicators. That pretty pisses me off. Along with the fact that Mimir and whoever is accompanying Kratos in his adventures can't stop talking about what you are supposed to do in combat. They also give you tips on the enemies that are flanking you, and that pisses me off because like you basically don't have a camera that's far enough for you to see and choose whatever strategy you want to use to fight the enemies. You simply don't have that. You've got like enemies flanking you all the time, and you don't get to see them. And sometimes you're in the middle of a combo, you have to interrupt that combo in order to react to some enemy, to some on-screen indicator, and some enemy that has flanked you, and that pisses me off to beyond belief. Um, there's something that the companions also do that makes me very, very angry, and I'll tell you guys, what it is. It's basically when they decide to tell you what's happening on screen. Like Kratos has been hit with like some burning weapons or something. I don't know, some weapons. He's got like a burning effect, or he is affected by Bifrost. There are some enemies in the game that actually hit you with like Bifrost magic. Uh, and he's affected by Bifrost, and the way that the game finds of telling you, oh come on, that the guy's affected by Bifrost, despite the fact, despite the fact that you can actually see that you're affected by Bifrost, is the guy saying, hey, you're affected by Bifrost, you're burning up now, you are freezing up and stuff like that. I don't need that because I can see what's happening, man. I don't know why they did it. So since we spoke about the camera, and then we spoke about the characters talking too much. That's actually a huge part of the story. Like the characters talk like a freaking whole lot, and the story develops in a way that it's interesting at times, uh, and sometimes it drags on for like substantial amounts of time. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be that long or something like that. That's what I told you before when I said that like maybe a shorter, right? Maybe a shorter game, shorter length or something like that would possibly be beneficial to this game. because you would be working with say a more intense and story driven adventure. Uh, but once we get the story going, it basically revolves around the fact that Atreus is trying to find himself, and that's something you haven't seen in any Netflix show before. It's always about someone trying to find himself, always. Oh yeah, found a new artifact. That's cool. It's always about someone trying to find himself, and then like Atreus makes the most stupid decisions ever, and gets Kratos to go along for the ride. uh, and that gets him to Asgard, and then you've got like all of the cliches of a Netflix postmodern show, all of them. You've got the difficult relationship between father and son. You've got the kid who's trying to find himself. You've got the old man who abandons his violent ways and decides to be a better person. I cannot. I can't really remember how many times I've heard the word or the expression "be better" in this game. Everybody's talking about being better every freaking time. You know, at the end, it's oh, you've got to be better. You've got to be better. Even to Thor, for example, that's shown here as having father issues, or to Thor, or maybe to Odin, for example, a little bit before he dies. Uh, I'm sorry, guys, I spoiled it. The main villain dies. Um, it's basically about that. It's basically about, like the insecurities that everybody faces and stuff. And I was like, I was getting tired of it because, like, I've seen this so much or so many times in media nowadays. That was like, okay, don't they have anything different to show us? And speaking of villains, let's talk a little bit about Odin, right? They make the guy a villain. That's right. They make the guy a villain. I did some research. I watched a few videos, read some stuff about Odin, and I saw this that Odin was like this guy who was always seeking knowledge and stuff. But then in the game, they decide to make him the enemy in this Ragnarok. Suddenly you find a bunch of people who show up saying that Odin has done the most hideous things to them. So they use that trend in media today, which is tell but don't show. And at one point of the game, I was okay. Who is this guy that just showed up like 10 minutes ago, and I'm supposed to believe what he says about Odin? You know, and the only thing we actually see Odin doing that's actually questionable and bad, so to speak, like in the moral sense of things, is kill Thor. That's what he does. When he kills Thor, I was like, oh, okay, this guy's an uh, so yeah, that's what that was a point in which like he killed Thor, and I said, oh, okay, he should die. But before, I didn't see him as a villain at all. I did not. And the game wants me to believe that this guy is like the biggest baddie. You know, I didn't buy that. We also have a cliche. I spoke to you about having family issues, right? And then we had like a family issue with Thor. Thor actually has father issues, which is like a trend of the video games nowadays. I mean, everybody has to have father issues. Everyone, every single character. I can't wait for what they're going to do to Nathan Drake, man. They're gonna reboot that game series. They're gonna screw it up so bad. They're gonna make Drake. They're gonna make Drake regret getting old or raising his kid in the wrong way. You know, you can mark my words. Mark my words on that. You're gonna see that I'm telling the truth. And that's basically what happens in this game. Uh, and then we get to the end. Everybody is dead. Ragnarok has taken place. Only Asgard has been destroyed. The prophecy was false. And we got this Mexican soap opera ending where everybody is happy. Kratos is still sad, but he manages to understand that Atreus is supposed to follow his own path. Uh, and he sees another prophecy that says he's going to become a god someplace. He's fighting other people and he's going to become a god because he's sitting atop of a throne or something, or a pedestal. And then you go, he doesn't want to fight anymore, man. How can you make the guy... How can you make him a god? And by fighting people in some other... Egyptian, I think. Like in Egypt. How can you have him fight the Egyptian gods and become a god himself when he said multiple times that he does not want war? Even in this game, when he was appointed a general, everybody was asking him to lead the army against Asgard. He said, "I do not want war." And then you go, what kind of a freaking general is that? That tells us, hey, yo, look, we got this war to fight. We got a war to fight. But the general does not want to go to war. You know? It's like having a coach that tells you that his advice is not going to do you any good. You know? It's bullcrap, you know, and Kratos to me is basically like a hypocrite because he does one thing for the sake of the game, right? Because the game wants to show Kratos, and Kratos used to be a murderous monster, but he professes to be vouching for peace. I don't understand. And everybody has to be peaceful in this game, man. At one point, they find Tyr. Tyr happens to be Odin in disguise. But Tyr also professes peace. He wants peace. He does not want violence at all. I mean... So I think the solution to actually ending all the conflicts in the world is that everybody gets old. Eventually, if everybody gets old and have teenage sons and have problems with their kids, you know, eventually they're gonna go, all right, best thing to do is to live at peace. That's pretty much it. And then, okay, the ending was cliched. We have basically an open-ended that's going to lead us to a solo game by Atreus, because he has to live his own adventures alone. So we are going to have a game with Atreus as a protagonist. We are also going to have another game with Kratos as a protagonist. And to be honest with you guys, I'm not sure I'm gonna buy this game. I'm probably like gonna wait until it goes on sale. It goes on sale because I'm not gonna do the same thing that I did to this one, which was pre-order it on July 22nd when the pre-order started. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it again. It's just not worth my money. And Kratos is pretty much a dead character to me, to be honest. I don't recognize this guy. I think they could have gone. They could have done something different with him, like developed him in a different way, evolved the character in a different way. I cannot think about it, and I do not dare to do so, or say, okay, I don't want to come to this review and say, hey, oh look, uh, I know exactly what Kratos should have done. No, I don't. I just know that I didn't like it. That's the point. It's not a bad game. It is a good game. We're gonna have a good time. That's for sure. But to me, it would be like maybe a 7 out of 10. You know, nothing above 7. That's for sure. Anyways, guys, this is it. Thank you very much for listening to all my rambling. I hope I don't get. I hope I don't get a lot of hate for saying what I said. And I didn't even get to say that the woke have destroyed Kratos, because like that's what I thought when I finished. When I finished the game, I was like, yeah, man, that's what you get when you've got like woke writers to work on an established character. Um, but then again, man, they did a disservice to Kratos. That's for sure. Well, anyways, this is it, I guess. Hope you guys have enjoyed this one. I hope you get to play this game and tell me in the comments whether you like it or not and how wrong I am in my point of view of this game. Please like or dislike this video at your convenience. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.